The lunchbox came home untouched for the 5th day in a row, and this time Andre found another child's name written inside the lid. He stood at the counter with the blue box open. The apple slices had gone brown. The sandwich had the diagonal cut Maya preferred. Beside the label that said Maya, someone had written Tessa in purple pencil, then tried to rub it away. When 9-year-old Maya saw what he was holding, she stopped in the doorway. "Why is her name in your lunchbox?" Andre asked. Maya looked at the floor. "I don't know." But she did know. And for the past week, every argument about wasted food had been built around the wrong story. Lunch had once been the easiest part of their morning. Andre packed while Maya searched for a missing shoe. She liked turkey sandwiches, apple slices, and 2 crackers in a paper napkin. She complained if the apple touched the bread. She usually returned the box empty. Then, on a Monday, the whole lunch came home. "Were you not hungry?" Andre asked. "Not really." On Tuesday, it happened again. By Wednesday, he had started asking what she wanted before packing it. Maya chose every item, watched him put it inside, and still brought it home untouched. Andre tried not to make food a moral test. He knew children could be distracted, tired, or simply not hungry at the expected time. But groceries were tight that month, and throwing away warm yogurt and crushed fruit felt different from leaving one sandwich. He began packing less. The box still came home full. He asked whether someone had said something about her food. Maya shook her head. He asked whether her stomach hurt at school. She said no. He wrote her teacher a short message. The teacher replied that Maya seemed cheerful at lunch and sat with the same group as usual. Nothing in the answer explained the untouched food. On Thursday evening, Andre opened the refrigerator and found 3 old lunches stacked behind the milk. Maya had hidden them after school instead of emptying the box. The smell reached him before the full meaning did. Maya. Kitchen. Now. She came slowly, her shoulders already raised. Andre placed the containers in a row. "You told me you ate lunch. Then you hid this." "I forgot." "You hid 3 separate boxes behind the milk." "That is not forgetting." Maya pressed her lips together. He heard himself becoming sharper. "Food costs money. I get up early to make this. If you do not want it, tell me. But you do not lie and let it rot." "I said I was sorry." "You said you forgot. Those are not the same thing." She ran to her room and shut the door. Andre did not chase her. He cleaned the containers, opened the window, and tried to decide on a consequence that fit the behavior. The next morning, he told her she would help plan and pack the lunches she had been wasting. Maya agreed without protest. That bothered him more than another argument would have. She made the sandwich carefully. Then she added a second napkin and 4 crackers instead of 2. Andre removed the extras. "We are packing what you will actually eat." Maya stared at the crackers in his hand. "Can I just have them? Yesterday you did not eat anything. Today I will." He put 2 back. Her face tightened as if he had taken away something much larger. That afternoon the lunchbox was full again. Andre found the second name under the lid and felt the last of his patience disappear. "Did you trade lunches? Did somebody take your food?" "No." "Then tell me why Tessa wrote her name in your box." Maya whispered, "She didn't write it." "I did." The story came out in pieces. Tessa was new. During her first week, she had opened her backpack at lunch and realized her lunch was still on the counter at home. Maya split her sandwich with her. The next day, Tessa had only a packet of crackers. On Wednesday, she said she was not hungry, but kept watching the other children eat. Maya began giving her the whole lunch and telling Andre she had eaten it herself. "Why didn't you tell your teacher?" he asked. Tessa said not to. She said people would think her mom was bad. Maya had written both names inside the lid because, in her mind, the lunch belonged to both of them. Then a lunch monitor asked why she was not eating. Maya panicked, brought the food home, and started hiding it rather than explain a promise she believed she had to keep. Andre sat down. The waste still mattered. The lies still mattered. But the child in front of him had not been rejecting his effort. She had been trying to protect another child with the only resource she controlled, and then trying to protect the child's parent from judgment too. You wanted to help her, he said. Maya nodded. And you were afraid an adult would make it worse. Another nod. Kindness is not the part you are in trouble for. Keeping a problem this big secret is the part we have to change. Andre did not promise to pack 2 lunches forever. That would have left 2 children managing something adults needed to understand. He wrote the teacher and asked for a private conversation without naming Tessa in front of classmates. The school counselor quietly contacted the family and explained the breakfast and lunch options available to every student. The following Monday, Andre packed Maya's usual sandwich, apple slices, and 2 crackers. He added 1 sealed snack in the front pocket. This one is yours, he said, pointing to the lunchbox. Then he touched the front pocket. And if a friend forgets something once, you may share this. If it happens again, you tell an adult and you tell me. You do not have to solve it alone. Maya traced the faded purple name inside the lid. Are you mad at Tessa? No. At her mom? No. I am glad you noticed someone. I am going to help you notice without carrying the whole problem. That afternoon, the lunchbox came home empty. In the front pocket, the sealed snack was still there. Maya put it back in the pantry for tomorrow. Eli had practiced the same 12 lines for 6 weeks. On the morning of the school performance, he folded the script in half and dropped it into the recycling bin. His mother, Rachel, pulled it out before the coffee grounds covered his name. You are on stage tonight, she said. 11-year-old Eli zipped his jacket. Not anymore. What happened? I quit. He said it as if the decision were simple. But one sentence had been circled so many times that the paper was soft beneath Rachel's thumb. Look for the person who came to see you. Eli was not usually drawn to a stage. He preferred building sets, carrying chairs, and making other children laugh from the edge of a group. When his teacher offered him the narrator role in a short school play, he surprised everyone by accepting. At home, he rehearsed while Rachel cooked. At first he rushed every line. Then he learned where to pause. He made a paper microphone from a towel tube and stood on the rug beneath the ceiling light. You have to sit on the left side, he told Rachel. That is where I look on the last line. Left side, she promised. Rachel worked at a medical supply warehouse. Her schedule changed from week to week, but she had requested the performance evening off more than a month earlier. She wrote it on the calendar in blue marker. Eli drew a star around it. For days before the show, a supervisor called. 2 people were out, a delivery had been moved, and everyone assigned to the late shift had to stay. Rachel argued. She offered to come in early. She asked coworkers to trade. By Wednesday, she still had no answer. She did not tell Eli yet. She kept hoping the problem would disappear before it became his problem too. On Thursday night, Eli heard her on the phone in the laundry room. I understand, Rachel said quietly. I cannot risk the hours. I will be there. When she came back, he was reading the script at the table. Everything okay? He asked. Rachel hesitated for 1 second too long. I am working on it. On what? Nothing you need to worry about. Keep practicing. Eli looked at the blue star on the calendar. You're still coming, right? I am trying. He nodded and returned to the page. He did not practice the last line again. The next morning, Rachel found the script in the recycling. Her worry arrived dressed as anger. "You cannot walk away on the day of the show," she said. "Your class is counting on you. They have another narrator. You asked for this role. I don't want it now. Being nervous does not mean you quit." Eli pulled on his backpack. "I'm not nervous." "Then what is this?" "Nothing." Rachel told him she would call the teacher herself. Eli's face changed. "Don't tell her I can do it." "You can do it. I have watched you do it every night." "That isn't what I said." But the bus arrived, and the door closed between them before Rachel understood the difference. At lunch, the teacher called. Eli had asked to move backstage. He had already taught the lines to his understudy. The teacher was not angry, but she was confused. Eli had seemed excited until that morning. Rachel opened the rescued script. The circled last line sat above a note in Eli's handwriting, "Mom, left side." She remembered the phone call, the calendar, and the way he had stopped rehearsing only after she said he did not need to worry. Rachel met him outside school before the final rehearsal. "I thought you quit because the stage scared you," she said. Eli kicked the edge of the curb. "It doesn't." "Then help me understand." For a while, he watched the other children leave. "If I am backstage, you don't have to come," he said at last. Rachel felt the sentence before she understood it. Eli had heard enough of her work call to know that leaving could cost hours they needed. He had also heard her promise she would try. In his mind, the narrator role had turned into a test with only two bad answers: perform and make his mother choose, or quit and remove the choice. "I didn't want you to get in trouble because of 12 lines," he said. Rachel sat beside him on the low brick wall. "Those 12 lines are not your job to manage," she said. "My work decision belongs to me. I should have told you the truth instead of letting you build a worse answer alone. So you can't come." She did not cover the disappointment with a false promise. "I cannot be there tonight. I am sorry." Eli looked away. "But I have a lunch break now, and your teacher said the final rehearsal begins in 10 minutes. I can sit on the left side for that. Tonight, the school can record the show. Neither one is the same as the promise I made. But you do not have to disappear to protect me from breaking it." Eli did not step back into the narrator role immediately. He asked his understudy whether she still wanted to perform. She did. So Eli stood beside the stage and read the opening announcement instead. Rachel sat on the left side of the empty auditorium while the class ran the final scene. When Eli reached the last line, he looked at her. "Look for the person who came to see you," he read. There were no costumes yet, no crowd, and no applause. Rachel clapped anyway. That night, she watched the recording on her phone during a warehouse break. Eli had stayed backstage, changed scenery, and stepped out for the curtain call. He was disappointed. She was disappointed. Repair had not erased either feeling. When Rachel came home, the blue star was still on the calendar. Beneath it, Eli had written final rehearsal in smaller letters. Rachel did not cross out the original promise. She added, "Next time, tell the truth sooner." Eli read it in the morning and handed her the wrinkled script. "Keep this," he said. "You missed the show, but you heard the line." The third alarm clock broke on a Tuesday, and Nora found all three of them hidden beneath her 14-year-old son's bed. One had no batteries. One had a cracked button. The newest was wrapped in a sweatshirt to silence it. Sam stood in the doorway while she lined them up on his desk. "You told me the alarms did not work," Nora said. "They don't. One cannot work without batteries. One cannot be heard inside a sweatshirt." Sam looked exhausted, but Nora had seen that look every school morning for 2 weeks. She had mistaken it for the consequence of staying up by choice. The family had moved into the apartment at the beginning of the month. It was smaller than their old place, but the windows caught the morning sun, and 8-year-old Max could walk to school with Sam. Nora's evening shifts at the pharmacy ended at 10. By the time she came home, checked lunches, and answered the last messages from work, she often fell asleep quickly. Sam had long needed more reminders than Max in the morning. He showered slowly, lost socks, and treated the snooze button like part of the alarm. But after the move, he began sleeping through everything. Nora bought a louder clock. He unplugged it. She put her phone outside his door. He carried it back to her room without waking her. Twice, Max was late because Sam had not gotten up to walk with him. "Go to bed earlier," Nora said. "I do." "Then stop using your phone at night." "I'm not." The screen time report seemed to support him. That should have been a clue. Nora decided he must be reading, drawing, or simply refusing to admit how late he stayed awake. After the second late arrival, the school sent a message. Nora moved Sam's bedtime back by an hour and collected every device at 9. Sam did not argue. He looked relieved. The next morning, he slept through the alarm again. Nora pulled the curtains open. "This is not happening one more time." Sam covered his eyes. "I know. Knowing is not getting up." "I said I know." "Then explain what you are doing all night." "Nothing." The answer made her angrier than an excuse would have. Nothing could not account for the gray shadows beneath his eyes, the missing batteries, or the sweatshirt around the clock. She canceled his weekend plans and told him the bedroom door would stay open. Sam's jaw tightened. "That won't help. You have not tried anything I asked." "You don't know what I've tried." He went to school without breakfast. That night, Nora set her own alarm for 1 in the morning. She intended to catch him awake and end the argument with evidence. At 1, Sam's bed was empty. His phone still lay on the kitchen counter. The bathroom light was off. Nora walked down the short hallway and saw a line of warm light beneath Max's door. She reached for the handle, then stopped when she heard Sam speaking. "The pipes knock when someone upstairs turns off the water," he said. That one was only the pipes. Max answered too quietly for her to hear. "I know it sounds close. I can stay until you fall asleep." Nora looked through the narrow opening. Sam sat on the floor beside Max's bed with his school sweater folded beneath his head. A comic book lay open across his knees. The nightlight had gone out, so he had placed a small desk lamp in the hallway. Max's hand rested on the edge of the mattress, close enough to touch his brother's shoulder. The new apartment made unfamiliar sounds after midnight. Pipes clicked. The elevator shuddered behind the wall. Footsteps crossed the ceiling. Max had started waking frightened during the first week. The first time, he went to Nora's room and saw her asleep in her work clothes. Sam found him in the hallway and took him back to bed. After that, Max went to Sam instead. "Mom is tired," Sam had told him. "Wake me." So Max did. Sometimes once. Sometimes 4 times. Sam removed his alarm batteries because the first ring woke Max after Sam had finally settled him. He wrapped the new clock in a sweatshirt for the same reason. Every solution Nora introduced made sense for the problem she could see and made the hidden problem harder. Nora stepped into the room. Both boys sat up. Max began, "He didn't do anything." Sam looked at the floor. "I was going to fix it." Nora sat beside him. "You were helping your brother," she said. "But you were also deciding for me that I was too tired to be his parent at night." Sam's eyes filled before he looked away. "You work all the time." "I work. And I get tired. Neither one makes this your night shift." She turned to Max. "You may wake me. Even if I am asleep. Even if I worked late." Then she looked at Sam. And you may help because you love him. You may not carry it until you cannot get through school. The next afternoon, they made a plan that belonged to all three of them. Nora replaced the nightlight and moved it away from the outlet that clicked off. She explained the building noises in daylight. Max chose a small bell for his bedside table. One ring meant he needed Nora. Sam could check on him once before bed, but he was not the overnight parent. The first night, Max rang twice. Nora got up twice. On the second night, he rang once. On the third, not at all. A week later, he woke again and needed her for nearly an hour. The plan was support, not a guarantee. Sam still overslept on Friday. Nora opened his curtains, but she did not point to the clocks under the bed. "Rough night?" she asked. "No. I just hate mornings." She laughed. "That problem I recognize. Get up." He made it to school on time. That weekend, Sam repaired the cracked button on the oldest alarm. He returned the batteries to the second one and placed it on his desk. The newest clock stayed wrapped in the sweatshirt beneath the bed. Nora found it while vacuuming and almost called him. Then she saw a note taped to the fabric, "For Max, only if the pipes get loud." She carried the clock to Max's room, unwrapped it, and set it beside the new nightlight. Sam had still tried to help. This time, he had left the alarm where an adult could hear it too. The behavior in these stories still needed a boundary. Food could not be hidden until it spoiled. A class could not be left without warning. School mornings could not keep collapsing. Curiosity did not remove responsibility, it helped each parent respond to the problem that was actually there. A useful pause can be simple: "I need this behavior to change, and I may be missing something. Help me understand what this was doing for you." A child may not answer immediately, and the first explanation may still be incomplete. The next step can stay concrete: involve the school discreetly, tell the truth about an adult constraint, or move an overnight burden back to the adult. If eating, school attendance, sleep, anxiety, or family stress stays persistent or begins interfering with daily life, involve appropriate school staff and a qualified pediatric or mental health professional without deciding on a diagnosis from one behavior. The lunchbox, the empty seat, and the silent alarm looked like three different problems. In the end, each one asked the same question: what changes when a parent looks again before deciding what the behavior means?